basically it was along the lines of people are saying that there just isn't good enough SA hip hop,
That's cap.
and that is cap.
That's cap.
And it was cool. It was fun. You guys came out. You and Mia came out. Mia played.
Mia played Saint.
Brody. Okay, we need to ask you about
Yeah,
Saint.
I need to ask Brody. Yeah,
Get your
and he's
mic
not
on.
that. It's cool, bro. Like I don't have a problem with you, but don't get mad and want to come back to me in 2-3 months time when you see that what I told you is generating buzz somewhere else, and then you come back and you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready, or whatever the case may be. Because now the rate is twice as more as what I asked you for the last time.
In that goes both ways, chat, before we move on. So does that mean if you have declined in terms of skill or the people you bring in, does that mean your rate should go down then?
And I was about to start my set, and he came up to me and he said, bro, how do you feel right now? I was like 5 minutes in. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, do you have like anxiety? And I was like, I mean, if now that you ask me, I mean, probably there's a sense of, uneasiness or what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Yo, this is Gremlin.
This is Kane.
And welcome back to Let's Talk Foreplay Podcast episode 5.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? We did.
Who would have thought? 5 episodes in, still no guest.
It's okay. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Anybody who wants to sponsor us a third mic,
yeah, third mic, equipment, sound card.
just
Sponsored
shit in general,
anything.
man.
Just give us money.
Just give us stuff.
Brody's cruel.
This man, what do you need a measuring tape for, Brody? Oh, maaf. This man is laying on all fours here.
He's crawling underneath the camera.
I hope it was. But yeah, welcome back, guys.
Yeah, welcome back. Once again, thank you guys so much for all of the comments, all of the support. It's been incredible. We say this every week, but it just gets better and better and
that's
better.
because every week it goes up. Like,
yeah,
the support is really crazy. Like, I don't think you could put a number on like the support that we've gotten, even though we check the YouTube analytics every now and then.
We do. I mean, we're almost on like 250 subs now.
Yeah, we almost on 250. Yeah.
The premieres for the views are like, people just really are excited for every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
also, I love that the Tuesday became a thing.
Yeah. So there was this guy, like I was at Bro Clubhouse on first Thursday, and this guy randomly comes up to me and he's like, I know your face. I don't know, I can't remember what your name is, but you do a podcast, right? I was like, yeah. So like, I think we're getting known for the podcast more than like being DJs.
Well, I think Foreplay is being known more for the
yeah.
podcast, yeah. But give it some time, you know.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Eventually.
Cool. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, there's a lot to complain about, but so I was at a wedding yesterday. I played a wedding yesterday. And then the father of the groom made the father's speech was now. And then he said, I'm lying. It was the father of the bride who made a speech, and he told the groom, to live a happy life, you need to follow 2 things: comply, then complain.
Okay.
So when your wife tells you to do something and you don't want to do it, you first comply, then you complain.
Okay.
So not the other way around. So that's me right now. I'm just complying with life. I'm not complaining.
Just say yeah. Okay.
I'm just going through things. But yeah.
I hear you. I mean, ride the wave,
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
You were right.
I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I won't lie. I think our burnout chat hasn't necessarily changed much. I think I'm definitely still enjoying DJing and all of that, and I can't complain about being busy, but yeah, it's I think more than anything it's a creative
block.
Yeah.
Oof, I hate that one.
Yeah, not a block necessarily. It's just like the energy, like I don't want to force the energy of being creative. I like for ideas to come to me and for inspiration to come to me rather than me
going
actively
out
trying to search for it. But there's quite a few theories, like Rick Rubin talks about this a lot, and some other people. They're just like, sometimes you actually have to get yourself into that zone instead of like just waiting for it to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Force
now.
the issue.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's tough, man. It's really tough. Like even me, like I can relate to the creative block type thing. So I've been having an issue with like my Rekordbox, like I told you about it, where
Weird one, eh?
very weird, where like when I export music onto flashes and I plug the flashes into the players, like the playlists are empty, even though the space on the flash is taken up. You know, I've tried multiple flashes, and then I just got like very upset about it, and I was like, fuck it, I need to blow some steam. So I took a trip to the A11 studio in Pardon Island on Friday, and I just spent 2 hours playing music. Like just playing music,
Nice.
playing whatever.
That's dope.
And then the crazy part is that I played without Rekordbox. So I just threw music onto my flash, and it's like the first time I ever did it, like playing without Rekordbox. And it's actually very like intuitive. Like it works. It works very similar, if not better than Rekordbox. Because like with Rekordbox, you have to quantize and all of that things. Whereas with like if you play music without the Rekordbox, the player itself will read it to the first piece of waveform. And then obviously like queuing, surprisingly, or maybe this is just my experience, but queuing on a non-Rekordbox flash is a lot more accurate than queuing on a Rekordbox flash.
Interesting.
It's kind of like it has an auto quantize on it or something.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not a fan of playing without Rekordbox, so I can't really relate to.
But that's what I was trying,
yeah.
because like again, like the issue to give context to the issues I've been experiencing, right? So for example, I'll plug a flash into a CDJ or to an XDJ, and then the flash will load for about 5 to 6 seconds before it starts picking up the music. And when I click on a playlist, and then it loads again for 5-6 seconds before it recognizes the music in that playlist. And then when I load a song, the song takes 2 to 3 seconds to load before I can actually play the song. So obviously this is very counterintuitive to how I DJ, because I'm constantly switching songs in and out, and I need the songs to load immediately. And I've tried everything. Like I've tried cleaning flashes and buying new flashes. I even tried not updating Rekordbox. I've tried updating Rekordbox, but the same thing just happens to like all the flashes that I've been using. So yeah, today I'm uninstalling my Rekordbox.
Yeah, what a mission. This actually ties into one of the comments that we got from DJ Redwood, who is he's been in the game forever and ever. And what does the comment basically? It was about equipment, right?
Yeah, it was basically, so like he said, like he enjoys hearing the experience that local DJs have within our industry. And then he said, he just asked like, what is our like preferred set of decks we'd like to play on, and what do we experience on like a day-to-day basis when we're DJing and stuff like that, which is actually crazy, because like we're gonna touch on First Thursday anyway, but like on First Thursday I had a gig, and I get to the gig, right? So at this particular venue, the setup is 900 Nexus, right, and a DJ M750.
This is that venue.
Yeah,
that one.
900 Nexus and a DJ M750. So I get to the show, right? And everything seems perfectly fine. The person before me is playing perfectly fine. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I get to the stage and I plug my USB in. The USB just loads. And I'm like, okay, standard procedure. My USBs have been fucking me around. I'm like, okay, no problem. Yeah. I switch USBs and I plug in a different USB. The USB reads and everything. I load up a song and it's just white noise coming out of the player. Like, every single song I try and load, it's white noise. I'm like, this is fucking weird.
That is crazy.
So bro, I switch the player off, I switch it back on, white noise. Now I'm like, is it my flash? So now I asked the other DJ who was there, played before me. I'm like, yo, just plug your flash in again, load a song and see if it does the same thing. White noise.
The other guy as well.
Yes. Okay. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this player? Mind you, I'm 5 minutes into my set already trying to figure out why this player is just emitting white noise. I swap channels on the mixer, still white noise. I swap RCAs on the player and the mixer, still white noise. Now,
never heard of this.
It's so fucking weird. Now I'm playing on one CDJ, and as I'm playing on one CDJ, all I'm thinking is, where the fuck is my premix?
I told you.
If I'm playing on one CDJ and all that's going through my mind is, where the fuck is my premix? I would like to extend an apology for everybody who carries a
Yeah,
premix.
there you go.
I would like to apologize. I should have had a premix. I get it. I understand. I
Wow.
understand. So anyways, so now I'm echoing out on the one deck, selecting a next song and playing. And guys, I look like a fucking douchebag up there, bro, just doing this. But anyways, so eventually I'm like,
Worst
fuck it.
DJ sets of the week.
Yeah, worst
Yeah.
DJ. Yeah, 100% worst
I'm
DJ set
telling
of
you,
the week.
bro. I think you got my bad luck this week.
No, literally, because I had similar issues last week, but I didn't speak about it. But anyways, so Brody's laughing at me. But yeah, so anyways, I'm like, fuck it. I go to Reddit. I'm like, CDJ emitting white noise. Guess what the fuck?
This is while you're playing.
Yes.
You're on Reddit.
I'm 20 minutes in my set already. I'm on
Crazy.
Reddit. I'm Redditing how to fix this thing. Guess what the issue was? A wild guess.
I have no idea.
There
I
was
can't
too
even think.
much electrical current flowing into the deck.
What?
That's what the subreddit thing said. It said that if it emits white noise like that, chances are there's too much electrical current flowing
How do
through
you
the deck.
control how much electrical current
I
goes into
don't
the
know.
deck?
So
Like into
maybe
the
it was the
power.
power cable that was faulty or something. So then what I did was I switched the player off. I plugged the wall plug. I plug it into a different socket. I switch
you're
it
doing
back
too
on.
much, bro.
I switch it back on. Everything is fine.
That's the weirdest thing.
I s-
How does somebody know this?
I don't know. I read it and I said, if I do this now, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work. I did it and it worked. I was upset.
It's like the dumbest thing, eh? Like you
It
think.
was so fucking stupid. Bro.
And why does it happen only when we start playing?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm
Someone
saying?
Put our voodoo
Voodoo
dolls
doll,
down.
bro.
Put it down.
Something's happening there.
Put it down. But yeah, to answer Redwood's question, so most of the players that we play on is like XDJ 1000s, the CDJ 900
a lot of all-in-one controllers
XDJs,
these days. Yeah.
R1s, RX2s, RX3s.
My favorite actually is the one that they have at Safe House.
Oh, the XDJ XZ.
XZ.
Yeah, that's the
That
4-channel
is a
one.
Beast.
Yeah,
I
that's-
love that.
That's the
thing. It's
best
like
all-in-one
CDJ
controller. 2000
CDJ
Nexus
meets
2.
controller. Yeah.
That's a CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 setup with the mixer as well,
Yeah.
and then the jog wheels and everything. yeah.
Love it. That's my favorite.
My favorite CDJ setup is 2000 Nexus 2s with a 900
Nexus.
900
Yeah,
Nexus mixer.
Same.
So yeah, but it's very rare that we encounter those types of setups. in
Yeah.
the city.
Actually, I had that setup I had an all-white setup at this corporate I did on
I
Tuesday.
saw that limited edition
Yeah,
one.
it was beautiful. Yeah, it was really nice. These corporates so I've actually started telling them, I've started requesting most places to not give me 3000s. They're an issue. They're a problem.
Pioneer, you guys fumbled the bag on the 3000.
Yeah, there's a lot of information about the 3000. So obviously, if you don't know, it's the latest CDJ that has come out.
Yeah,
the
it's
3000,
quote unquote the new club standard.
Yeah, but it was released before it was ready. So there's a lot of issues that people are facing, and like I've actually seen it myself. Like it's just not great. It has potential. Like you can see what it is, but
It's the technology in it and the idea of
It's
like
insane.
the 8 hotkeys
Yeah.
and the beat jump buttons and
full touchscreen,
Yeah.
huge display. Yeah.
you can really do so many crazy things with it, but it was released way before it was
Like
ready.
the fundamentals of it, like something as simple as like the pitch fader, the BPM would just jump
around, yeah.
which is insane.
Sucks.
Even the decks, when you're scratching it, it skips. It's just a weird one. So I've specifically requested them, especially the corporate gigs, because their budget is big enough for them to just
To
book
get a
the
proper
best stuff.
setup,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'll make it a point for them to not book that, book those decks.
3000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously they're going to sound engineers and
Yeah.
whatever, and they're saying, oh, we want the top of the range, and the first thing that they're gonna throw out is 3000s. But there's nothing better than a set of Nexus 2002s and a DJM 900 Nexus,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's honestly that's Pioneer's peak.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this corporate gig on Tuesday. Like we touched on it last week about how you can make money as a DJ doing corporates and privates and weddings and stuff like that, but you won't really have much relevancy in the
industry.
in the popularity
Yeah.
industry kind of thing, versus club and event DJing. So I've been lucky enough to strike a balance between the two for quite a few years now, and I've made my name in the corporate market where people know that I do a bit of everything. So I got booked for this client that I've worked with before, and most of the time the setup is that there's an events company that manages everything on behalf of the client.
Yeah.
So the client will just go to the events company. So in this case, this client was like this venture capitalist, massive, silly money kind of situation. And they just go to the events company, and the events company book us and the sound and everything else, and they plan it like that. So that's just a piece of advice to maybe get in
Into
with
that
an
space,
events company, an agency or something like that handles these things, because the work just comes, and it's good money, no issues, get paid beforehand, fantastic. Super boring gig, like boring. It's just a bunch of suits and ties, and they're talking, and you're playing background music.
You are playing background music.
But
We like to
I'm
call it elevator
making
music.
4 or 5 times the amount of money that I would at a club. So, that's just a bit of context for anybody out there that's trying to maybe make some money DJing. Corporate is the way to go for sure. But yeah, let's get into our week, because there's a lot that we want to touch on, mostly because of some of the comments that we got on Instagram and Facebook and on DMs and stuff like that. But I do want to talk about how this week specifically, I've noticed a big decline in just how many people are out, how many people are outside. It's gotten quiet.
It has. I think we know Ramadan and like the fast and that is coming up soon, so that could be a big reason why.
But would you say that? I mean,
I wouldn't
for us to
say
experience
100%.
such a big decline,
I wouldn't say
from
it's 100%
from the Muslim
that.
community alone, like
Nah. But like it is crazy that it's such a dip. But I don't know if you noticed, but like there's always a part of the year where there's a big dip like this. Like last year, I experienced a dip like this, like from mid-February to like mid-March, where it was like super quiet, people didn't come outside, and it was just like dead and dry. This year I'm experiencing the dip a bit later on. So like now for like the last week and a half, it's probably gonna stretch all the way into like mid-April,
Easter,
where it's gonna be a bit quiet. Like Easter weekend is probably the exception, because people expect things to happen that weekend, and people obviously will have energy and stuff to go out. But yeah, it's I don't know why it happens.
I don't know either. It kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like I saw Icon last night, and I told him, I was like, "What's happening, bro? Like it's come out of nowhere." And he's like, "Yeah, it has come out of nowhere, but also we've been on a ridiculous run, like a ridiculous run of like, I don't know, a year and a half, where every single weekend has just been silly."
Realistically speaking, like for me personally, that run started after Daisy's 2022. So I would say from
October,
Daisy's, so October 2022 all the way through to now.
That's
how
a year
long
and 6
that run
months,
has
bro.
been, of just like every weekend it's buzzing everywhere. Like there was not one place where you couldn't, like if you had 5 gigs, 3 out of the 5 would be warm.
Yeah.
And maybe
there's always going to be 1 or 2. But like this week was
almost
everything was pop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Like first Thursday was busy as usual, like a lot of people
But it
outside.
wasn't hot.
There wasn't anything happening.
Yeah.
Like first Thursday has become like just, okay, let's go outside. And it's
we
a
go
normal
outside
night.
because it's tradition now.
Yeah.
That's what first Thursday has become.
But then you kind of like, you meet everybody, you see each other, and then you're like, so what's happening now?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And it's weird, bro. It's super, super weird, because like first Thursday, Feb was hot. That was hot. That was like
Crazy.
That was a big one. Like there was a lot of people outside. And then March comes around and it's like, meh. But also, if you think about it, the first Thursday March was on the 7th of March, no? Or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like a whole week after payday.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
So maybe that's also why. Because remember,
Maybe.
first Thursday conveniently falls either
on the first or second.
on the first, or like just after payday, like a day or two after payday. So it's convenient for people to go out because they still have money. So maybe
Possibly.
that could be why.
I honestly, I think it comes back to our chat of we are just spoiled for choice. There's just so much happening.
There's just so much to do.
There's just so much happening, and like, so I played Rooftop on Bree, and it was cool. It was fun. You guys came out. You and Mia came out. Mia played
Saint.
Brody. Okay, we need to ask you about Saint.
I need to ask Brody. Yeah,
your
he's
mic
not
on.
now though. Not now.
No.
Let's hop into it now.
Yeah. Come on, Brody. Get that mic on. You know what it is.
You saw that shit, bro.
That is crazy.
You saw that.
Okay, so if you don't know, Saint is a club in Cape Town,
nightlife club,
which is notorious for making these ridiculous
table
prices. Like,
so
they went viral
let's give
because
you
of
context.
that.
New Year's Eve, the most expensive table at Saint was R1 million.
Yeah. Just for the table.
The most that's just the table.
You just book the table and that's it.
You book the table and the minimum spend is R1 million. So when you book that table, the least amount of money you can spend for that particular section is R1 million. And then
Am I correct in saying Saint they get more international people partying?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they have a very, very specific target market.
Demographic. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure they fill out most nights. I don't think they're gonna be selling R1 million table, but I used to DJ then. There'd be nights where someone would spend 150, 170.
Yeah, they definitely get people who spend money. But like, yeah, just to put it into context.
Yeah.
So
there's money. There's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to put it into context, so they put out an ad looking for an event photographer. So the requirements were needs a passion for lifestyle, needs their own equipment, their own transport, and also needs to be able to run a 24-hour turnaround time.
6 hours.
Which is
6-hour shifts as well.
Okay, so if you've got the skills to freeze time in a frame and the energy to keep up with the pulse of the night, we want you. What we're looking for?
We want you.
Passion for nightlife photography, ability to capture high energy moments, experience in low light settings, creativity that speaks volumes to meet and surpass current established aesthetic. Okay, so there's a lot of requirements here. Must-haves: own equipment, equipped to handle low light environment, be able to work for 6-hour shifts, be able to edit photos within a 24-hour turnaround cycle.
Before you continue, guys, 24-hour turnaround time is impossible, especially when you are an active photographer / videographer. You can't do anything in 24 hours.
So if you work until 4 a.m. and you need to post, they want the photos by the next day. That means you're going to have to wake up at whatever time in the morning.
Let's say you wake up at 8 a.m. Their first Instagram post goes out at 1 p.m. So you need to, when you wake up at 8 a.m., you need to get edited pictures out before they post at 1 a.m.
That's insane.
And let's say they run a second carousel post at 10 p.m. Then you need to go and... So 24-hour turnaround time is... That's the first part that's kind of ridiculous. But what's the next one?
Before we get into that, Brody, based on these requirements, what would you say a fair... because they edited this post. They were saying intern or something like that. What would you say a fair rate is per night for a 6-hour shift based on these requirements?
And also at your quality of work.
And at knowing what this place, the money that this place makes.
And again, at your quality of work.
A minimum of 6K at least for the night.
6K, so 1,000 rand an hour.
But that's just for the photos. If you want the 24-hour, the photos the next day, that's at least an extra K. Because now I have to go home. If I sleep, there's no guarantee I wake up at 8 a.m. because I'm ending at 4. So I have to, like...
You have to prioritize this thing now.
Yes, I have to go home, do the photos then. Say I have like, okay, you go on Saturday morning or like I must go to a wedding or something. That alone is a 12-hour shift. And I'm getting paid 4 or 5 times as much. And what I'm getting paid at Saint as a minimum. It's
so you're saying on average that type of requirement is 1,000 rand an hour.
Yeah, that's a minimum. If you're looking for a good photographer, that's a minimum that you're gonna pay now. If you're looking for someone that's starting out, you can get away with 500 rand, but that's not a whole night. That's
crazy.
That's an hour.
Okay.
And that's somebody that hasn't taken photos for more than 3 months, that just started, you can get away with a 500 rand an hour.
That's insane.
But also 500 rand an hour.
And
So you basing this on an hourly rate?
yeah.
What?
They put in the requirements at an hourly shift, so I'm going to quote you at an hourly rate.
And what is like a good enough camera for that sort of low light, you know?
Oh, you're looking at Sony's, bro.
And how much does a camera like that go for?
I'm running 2 Sonys now. The one is 20 and the other one was 20 like 4 years
And
ago.
let's say you can't afford to buy it cash. What if you were renting it per night or per day? What's the rental?
600 rand a night.
So 600 rand a night for the camera to rent alone. Then
And
you
that's
need
just to
memory
accommodate the space.
cards, you need your laptop. You need time.
Editing software.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't pirate your software, please.
So, bear in mind everything that we've spoken about. They are offering 800 rand for a 6-hour shift
Per night.
per night, not per hour, per night.
Which equates to like 133 rand an hour. I think someone did the math on Twitter.
That's
Not
like,
gonna
no,
lie.
that's a joke.
They were going in on Twitter, bro.
No, but I feel like Saint has become like every year they do something.
They do, yeah, they do. They it's like clickbaity kind of stuff. Yeah.
Maybe it is clickbait. If it's clickbait, shout out. The marketing strategy is there.
My thing is
Brilliant.
this, right? What if you are desperate for a job and you go there and you apply and you get this job, right? Fair enough, you're gonna make 800 rand a night. If you are happy with that, surely no one in your industry and your peers are gonna respect you because they're gonna be like, bro, you're a joke for taking this.
Well, not that you're a joke, but now you've significantly decreased the value of the art.
100%.
Because now, remember, I always say the new standard is the lowest amount of pay that someone will take. So if at the current rate now, the lowest that someone is willing to take is 500 rand an hour. Like, let's say that's the minimum now. That's the standard for photography. It's 500 rand an hour. And someone comes along and takes 133 rand an hour. Then that's the new standard.
At today's level, I would say even 500 rand as a starter is like people can't let someone else say, I'm gonna pay you 500 rand an hour. Like, you have to, if you have your own transport, you bought your own camera, you bought a lens, SD card alone, a memory card alone, like a quality one is $400. Like, guys.
So now imagine, let's say your grand total for equipment is 65k. Let's say you're an aspiring photographer. You really all in on this bag and you go make a 65k loan to buy everything that you need. How long do you think you're paying that loan back with, say, 800 rand for...
So someone in the comment section said, do the maths, guys. 800 rand at 7 nights a week. And then before I read even further, no club is operating 7 nights a week.
No one. Yeah, no.
Max
no
they're
one
going to
else.
do
It's 4 days
maybe
a week.
Wednesday to Sunday, Wednesday to Saturday, Thursday to
Wednesday
Sunday.
to Sunday,
Yeah.
definitely. Wednesday,
So
Thursday,
Wednesday,
yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let's say 5.
days.
That's not a terrible bag per month. But 6 hours a night.
And 24-hour turnaround
No,
time.
It's insane.
And the appropriate equipment to make up for low light area, low lighting.
yeah.
They essentially want you to be a full-time employee without offering you a proper income. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So someone commented here, look at it this way. 800 rand and you get a chance to mingle with popular people and make a name for yourself. 3 months later, you resign with all your connections. Seems like a bad salary, but play the long game. No. It's not going to happen.
I can say, okay, so I'm working at a place now where people come in and out the door, but I get a monthly salary, right? So obviously they're not going to pay my actual rate per an hour.
Think about the people that are in this place specifically. They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah,
bro.
that's a different
This is
chat,
you're
bro.
in a
'Cause
different
remember,
situation.
your thing is fixed. You have a signed, detailed contract.
Yeah.
Whereas this is going to be, send me your invoice.
And not going to pay your invoice. Are we?
For
Nah,
800
let's not
for
say
800
that.
rand, I'm giving you guys drawings of stickmen on paper. The camera is not coming with.
The real chat. The comment section went crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
So
That's just crazy, right, Brody? Like, I think people are justified in saying this is insane.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm not the I'm not the best in the industry. I'm not the top guy. Like, I'm not a Bobby. I'm not a Dale. I'm not a, those guys.
Shout out Bobby. It's his birthday today, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out
So
Bobby.
we recording
And
this
shout
on
out for
Sunday.
the USCI video. That shit
Yeah,
is
the
dope.
USCI video is really nice.
Like, what I was going to say is, I actually don't know what I was going to say. I lost it now.
Oh, you say you're not them.
I'm not them, but like, I'm also not going to go into something with 500 Rand an hour. Like, I'm going to respect myself. I have to drive, get in my...
Not 500 Rand an hour, bro.
Sorry, 800 Rand a night.
133 Rand an hour.
Like, I've worked full events, and bro, I would never do it. I've worked 6-hour shifts.
That's 9 to 3, 10 to 4. Like, nah.
Yeah, there's
no
also,
ways.
so like again, the money chat comes up, right? And this also ties into another comment that we got, where someone asked, how do you go about asking for an increase? So like again, let's say you're a resident DJ, whether it's for a particular event or it's for a particular club or whatever, and you're a resident, and how do you go about telling that particular promoter that, hey, I've played here for a minute now, I need you to up my rate because we have a agreement, or because we do this thing regularly, you need to up my rate, and da. So the comment was basically asking, how do you go about having that conversation? And
this is a very touchy subject for me.
For everybody, actually.
For everybody, but for me specifically, because I got to a point with a resident place that I just felt was just disrespecting my value and my time, and I just walked away. And honestly, like, that was the best thing I could have done. So in the situation where you feel like you can see that this place is making money, you're consistent, you are bringing people to the venue on a weekly basis, twice a week, 3 times a week, and in any case, a resident rate is always going to be lower than a once-off rate.
Yes.
It's always going to be lower, because that is the premise on which they're working at. They're saying, listen, we can guarantee you X amount every week or every month, and it's guaranteed, So when it gets to the point of, okay, listen, I've been playing at this place for a year, 2 years, which I had been, and eventually I told them, listen, when I had started playing here, this was during COVID. So you need to realize that, I needed to realize that the rates were going to be lower because the income was lower.
Yeah.
Then COVID ended, and
it stayed the same.
And it stayed the same. They wouldn't increase it. And I said, okay, peace, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, if you're going to stay there and you're going to try and prove your value or your worth to them, they're going to say, nah, is what it is, we'll get somebody else.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then as soon as I left, literally weeks go by and they're like, please come back, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with Saint. I can be honest about this. Saint was the same situation where, okay, bear in mind, I wasn't who I was. This was maybe 2016, 17, and Saint had just opened, and I told them, listen, guys, like, I'm not happy with the pay here. Like, I can see how much money. Imagine I'm DJing and there's somebody dropping 200K a night, and I'm walking away with 1,000 Rand for a 2-hour, 3-hour shift.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way,
math
right?
doesn't math.
It's not mathing. So I walked away, and same thing. They said, please come back, Please come back. What do you want? But it gets to the point where you just kind of like, you realize that you can just go somewhere else and do another thing and be, committed to another residency. Because, I don't know, that's just my perspective. Trying to prove to the people and trying to ask for more money, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a sticky one still, because people get very emotional, and people get very emotional when it comes to like the money chat, and then because like you also prioritize the relationship, because it's a consistent bag,
Yeah.
and that it helps you because you'll have a gig like from this particular brand or whatever. You'll have a gig 2-3 times a month.
It's comfortable.
Yeah. But realistically speaking, it has to go up. You're not going to work a 9 to 5 for 3 years in a row under the same base salary. That salary is going to go up once every year, or
Yep.
if not twice every year, you know. So like realistically speaking, as a DJ, your rate should go up 3 times a year. I would say either every third or every quarter of the year, you know, your rate should go up. So you should have that type of conversation with these people, especially if you're able to maintain your name in relevancy and you're able to expand your brand so like what
That's
I would
true. It has to go both ways.
It has to go both
you can't
ways.
just expect.
Can we have the discussion around 3 times a year? Seems a bit like, because how much are you increasing it by if you're increasing it by 3 times a year?
So like but that's why I say, like, if you do go 3 times a year, it really depends on how you've evaluated yourself after that first. Like, let's say if you increase it every 4 months. So after 4 months, you sit down with yourself or your team or whoever, and you evaluate what you've achieved within that 4 month span, and you can say, okay, cool, I've been flown out to various places a lot more, or I've played 2-3 festivals in between that time, or I've worked with 4-5 new brands.
Almost like a key performance, that KPIs.
Like a KPI, yeah.
But that's good for your brand.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the venue?
Well,
What is the venue looking at and saying, okay, cool, you've been flown out or whatever, but does any of that come back to me?
It eventually does, because it means that you are, how can I say, I wouldn't say less accessible, but now you've kind of shifted yourself into a space where more people want to see you. So like, for example, let's say you do 2-3 brand activations. That means you have a bit more brand exposure. That means people who was at that particular brand exposure or something are now more inclined to kind of follow you around and kind of see where you might be playing at, because they enjoyed your set there. And that's why I say, like, if you can evaluate it after 3-4 months and you can say, okay, I've achieved all of these things, I've made all of these particular connections, and I've grown, especially like on Instagram and analytics and stuff like that. If you've grown a following, if you've grown your following by 500 to 600 plus people over the span of 4 months, by all means, you can up your rate, bro. Especially if the new way of looking at these things is social media driven.
I agree with you 100% on that. I do agree with you. But from a perspective of a venue owner, you're going to come to them and show them all of these things. And they're going to say, what does it mean for me? Why should I pay you more money if it doesn't necessarily mean that you are making me more money? Even though we see it as we're getting more popular, more people are coming to watch us, etc., etc., etc. If I'm looking at Brody as a DJ that's doing amazing things, he's killing it, he's so talented, he's playing festivals and whatever, great. But he comes to my club and nobody really comes for him. There's people that are supporting him, but they're not really spending money. And I look at you and you bringing one table that spends 10 to 15K a night. Me as a promoter and a venue owner, I'm going to say there's more value in you. Unfortunately, that's how it is.
Yeah, I get you. But like,
I'm not saying that's right.
I know.
I'm saying this is how most people look at it.
But I'm saying at the end of the day, it kind of boils down to what we said last time also, is that like, you do have the cards in your hand. And at the end of the day, you can tell if that person says, or if that brand or that whoever says, hey, we're not willing to up your rate, then you will now
bounce.
go.
You have to bounce.
Then you'll go and you'll show off your skills at another place. You know, because again, I have this thing that I say to like a lot of people and to my friends, and I say, "Huis toe moet jy kom. Huis toe moet jy kom. Dis die huis en huis toe moet jy kom."
Yeah.
In English, it says, "You can go everywhere, but home is where you always end up."
Yeah.
You have to come home. So if you don't wanna up my rate, it's cool, bro. Like, I don't have a problem with you, but don't get mad and want to come back to me in 2-3 months time when you see that what I told you is generating buzz somewhere else, and then you come back and you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready, or whatever the case may be. Because now the rate is twice as more as what I asked you for the last time.
The thing is, you have to be able to back it up. You can't just be asking and demanding for more money if there really is
no
nothing
reason to give it to you. But
you
that's
have
why I
to
say
back it up.
you have to evaluate it before you actually have this conversation. You know, you can't feel some type of way about it. Go up to someone and be like, you've been paying me this amount for like 6 months now. I want more. But in that 6 months, you haven't proven yourself or haven't done anything to get more.
For sure.
You know? So it does go both ways. You can't just say, oh, I want more money, but you haven't done anything to prove that you want more money.
In that goes both ways, chat, before we move on, So does that mean if you have declined in terms of skill or the people you bring in, does that mean your rate should go down then?
No, your standard will stay the same, but don't get mad when people offer you less.
That's a good question.
No,
That's a good
because
question,
because
yeah.
if you evaluating yourself on I'm doing better, so I should get paid more.
Yeah.
If you're not, that's why I also in my I'm not a DJ for anybody watching, but I always believe that, not believe, but if say you playing, Calvin's playing, or Gremlin's playing at Destiny, right? That particular night the place is rocking. You can charge your normal rate because you played a banger set, these people enjoying it. But if you go there and you mess up or they're not really vibing with you,
that's a different context though, because that's on the night.
That's on the night.
Yeah, that's on the night. On
There's-
the night is different.
We've said this many times. We don't believe that DJs have a pool.
Yeah.
Not one DJ has enough pool to say, oh wow, okay, Kane's playing tonight, it's gonna be full, done. Because I this week alone, last night I played at a venue. There were 10 people, gigantic lineup. Me, Icon, Waggy, Kixi, Tamo. Who else was there? We're saying like some of the biggest DJs in the city,
Yeah.
and there was no one there.
Yeah, but that's why I say it
You know,
doesn't.
it happens.
It doesn't equate to, like, again, to get paid more, you have to do better and you have to prove yourself, and obviously you need to meet expectations for yourself, because every DJ has goals and stuff like that. If you don't achieve goals within your first 6 months that you've set them, and it's okay, you can reevaluate and you can reassess and you can go up. But if you are steadily declining, and if you are just not putting yourself out there in the industry and making waves, then you also can't be upset that someone is
Yeah.
offering you less.
Hey, I agree with you, man. If there's only so much money that can go out and there's a budget, I 100% believe that if there's more money to be paid to somebody, it should be to the people that are actually pushing and doing something.
That are
If
actively
you're
working.
doing nothing and you're still doing the same sets every week and you're not pushing your social media, you're not pushing
Yeah.
your networking,
Yeah.
you don't deserve more money.
And again, it ties. Before we move on, it ties into the value aspect of what you bring along as a DJ.
yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't know this, but you as a DJ, you are a package. Like, you are literally a package, bro. You have your own photographer, your own videographer, you have your social media that you push your stuff on, and then obviously you have your skill set as a DJ. All of that is represented as value for a promoter. So a promoter will know that, hey, this dude has a photographer, so that's free content that the promoter now gets, because now you're taking pictures at his or her event,
Yeah.
and you're taking pictures at their venue and whatever. Then you have your videographer who does the same thing. So now there's a performance reel of you going crazy and the crowd is up. So now they get exposure for that. And then obviously your DJ set.
There's
and
added
stuff.
value
Yeah.
to booking
So you
me,
are
yeah.
a package, bro. You're not just a single entity.
Yeah.
I do think that because there are a few DJs that don't, when they say, oh, this is what I charge, they're not including what they must pay their photographer, their videographer. I think DJs should do that, because say you're getting paid a certain amount and now you must cut that in half or by like a 25% to give to your team. I don't think that, because if, like I'm saying, you're providing them with free content,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they should at least be compensated, because they ask you for that. But if I'm taking photos of a DJ, the promoter will come and ask you, can you please send me that photos? But what are you not paying me for that?
So here's a little.
Or are we just being spoiled?
No,
Nah,
we're not.
it's valid, bro. Like your realistically, your pay does get chopped into various sections.
It does.
And it's fucking crazy.
So what I do is I have a booking form, and in that form you've used it as well a few times. So in that form, what I've done, and this is free game. Subscribe. Free game. In this booking form, I ask for all the information that is necessary. So what the event is, what the type of how many people are you expecting, what time you want me to play,
proposed times,
proposed set time,
budget.
proposed budget. Then I ask in there as well, do you want a photographer? Do you want a videographer? In my rate, I can include being promoting the event once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I can make a designated post on my feed. I can make one story. I can make a mix. Like I put all these offerings, these added values on top of the base rate. So if you're booking me and you just say, listen, I just want you to come and DJ, it's gonna be X amount.
I don't need to post
want a
your shit,
photographer,
bro.
want a videographer, it's gonna cost more. And I think that's just fair enough. But you can't expect me to give my base rate and I must still pay Brody to come
and that's the thing that people, I would think that's the thing that promoters don't necessarily understand when it comes to this DJ shit. Because as a DJ, you're only as good as your last performance, or you're only as good as your latest social media post. And you have to dish out money for quality work, you know. You chances are you don't even get the people who shoot you on a budget if you don't know them properly, or if you don't create a rapport. Like I have a team, for example. I have a designated photographer, I have a designated videographer, and because they are constantly aligned with work, that comes out of my DJ check. So I also need to say, hey, I'm getting paid this amount of money. What can I afford to actually do with this money? Can I get pictures with this money? Okay, cool. I can get pictures, but I can't get video. So now I'm not going to have a performance reel for this particular show, even if it's a show that I really want to record a performance reel at. So yeah, it's like sectioning of DJ pay, it's very sticky. And now you're still considering what people are paying rates these days. It's like, how do I expand and grow my brand when I don't get paid enough to actually put money into it? Because a good image requires money, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to build your brand with income from DJing alone. So that's why I've always said to any and every up and coming DJ, have a second or third income stream. Don't quit your day job until it gets to the point like, I still have a day job. You have a day job. You know,
but he's been saying I must quit my day job for at least 7 months now.
I have, to be fair.
This man's been pressing us quit your day job.
I have. I believe in you, bro.
Yeah, same. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's like, it's really hard to say I'm going to make $2,000 from a gig and now I need to pay Brody for videography and editing, and I want a photographer too, and I'm gonna sponsor a post. Like, there's no profit on that.
There's no profit.
There's no profit on it. But if I have a second stream of income or third stream of income, I can support that side of my business with that other income,
and you can continue to grow the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a topic we can probably deep dive into and probably break down the math a lot better for the viewer.
We can do that in another episode.
There's one other thing I wanted to touch on. How long are we into this episode now?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Not bad. Okay, let's run through something real quick. Performance. So you played at Vogue, right, on the first Thursday, right? So for those of you who don't know, Youngster, CPT, and Raf Don dropped a collab project.
EP, album
like
vibe.
like a collab project EP. So yeah, congrats to them for dropping the collab EP.
Shout out.
But based on your experience, what was that like?
Let's talk about youngsters specifically. If there's anybody in Cape Town that can pull a crowd in terms of a hip hop act, it's him.
Yeah.
There isn't really anybody else that for years consistently can bring 200, 300, 400, 500 people, even 1,000 people specifically for his event. Having said that, it doesn't always mean that people are going to come out to everything that he does. But this isn't a youngster thing specifically. This is a Cape Town hip-hop live performance thing in general. Yeah, I want to know what your thoughts are on that, because for me, there's a real lack of genuine support. And again, it comes back to no real FOMO. Like, so what if we don't see this thing or go to this thing? There's another thing happening next week and the week after that.
I don't want to say okay. I'll keep it 100 with the audience. I've said for a very long time that performance culture in Cape Town is dead.
Yeah.
Not because the artists aren't talented, not because the artists don't make great music. We play local artists in our sets all the time, and it's because they make great music. But Cape Town itself has proven over and over again that it's just not a city where live performers can thrive and where live performers can create a base of operations out of, you know. And this is why the consistent chat of artists need to leave for Joburg, artists need to go set up life in Joburg before they can get recognized. Because again, case in point, you have about a good 1 to 2 year run in Cape Town where the city is behind you and the city loves what you're doing and you pop in. And then you need to, for example,
like what acts?
I've seen a couple guys do it. I've seen Look It Ups. He's dipped to Joburg. I think he stayed in Joburg for just under a year. Created a sense of FOMO in Cape Town. Created the necessary connections that he had to in Joburg. And then he moved back to Cape Town because now people in Joburg are willing to fly him out. Okay. The same way that people in Cape Town were willing to fly him out when he was living in Joburg, you know. But it all boils down to the fact that Joburg is the mecca for the entertainment industry. So you can't thrive in Cape Town if you don't go spend a good 6, maybe 9, maybe a year in Joburg. Like even for me personally, last year February, I took a trip to Joburg on my own expense and I spent a good 2 weeks there just to soak up how the entertainment industry, to understand how the business runs on that side. And it clicked to me then. It made complete sense as to why, as an artist of any kind, you need to go and take that Joburg trip. Even if it's just for exposure and for experience. Like I said, I took money out of my own pocket to find that trip. I got a couple gigs there. And just based off that couple gigs alone, I got recognition in certain places. And that took me back to Joburg in April that same year, which was last year. And then again, I made more connections. I spoke to more people. So now there's an active pipeline available in Joburg. But again, Joburg is not my place of operations. So I need to go back there and spend some more time before I can create a sense of FOMO where people in Joburg are willing to fly me out. You see, and it goes the same for artists. In artists, and this is the crazy thing. In Joburg, you can walk in the mall and you can bump into a Nadia in a car. You can bump into a superstar. You can walk into any mall and like Diamond Walk and that sort of thing, and you can see these people. Whereas like in Cape Town, these types of people are less accessible. You only have your homies around you and within the city to depend on to create that buzz and to generate something. But the question is, how do you take that and expand it to a national level without bridging the gap?
It's a tough one, eh? It's a tough one.
And I've seen this, bro. Like we've had events where people try to prioritize live performances. And the moment someone steps onto the mic to try and perform, the crowd dissipates.
Gone. People don't care. They genuinely don't care. I think they only want, and this doesn't even go only for live performances. This goes for DJing as well. People do not want to hear something that they don't know. They do not want to be put onto anything. They don't want to be educated. They don't want to be surprised. They just want what they know, and they want to hear that over and over again. Yeah, but as simple as that, bro.
But this is why I'm saying though, then people can't get upset when the artists are moving and when DJs are moving and when people are going to go stay in Joburg and stuff like that. I mean, like I swear to you, I've only been to Joburg twice, and on both occasions, I've never seen live acts more appreciated than what they are in Joburg. Yeah. Like I watched a Look At Up's performance in Joburg. People knew basically every word to the song. I watched the K-Kid performance in Joburg. People knew the songs. People understood what was happening at that point in time. And again, I've seen both of these artists perform in Cape Town too, and they have a following in Cape Town. But for the broader community, they just dissipate.
So I don't know if you saw this, but there was something on Twitter. George commented on it, and he was talking about. They were basically speaking about SA hip hop. I mean, this conversation, it's ongoing. Like, there's always a problem with SA hip hop DJs and artists and all that kind of thing. I'm just gonna find it quick, but basically, it was along the lines of people are saying that there just isn't good enough SA hip hop.
That's cap.
And that is cap.
That's cap. SA hip hop is the wave right now. SA hip hop is the wave right now, bro. Like I can't stress this enough as to how good SA hip hop has been over the last 3 or 4 years. Remember, SA hip hop had a golden era type run between the years 2015 and 2017, where SA hip hop was just crazy. Obviously that was like AKA Casper, KO. They were running the scene that time, and then it took a dip. Like, I wouldn't say quality dropped off, but it's just like vibes and that dropped off. And then now, ever since the emergence of people like Nasty C, Blackie, Aries, Lower Turnover Pounds, like even now some of the Cape Town guys, Iwiva 900, Iwiva 900, look at Ups, K-Kid, Simulation Raps. Like, SA hip hop is in such a beautiful space right now because we have the kids running the game. Like, so people saying that SA hip hop is not where it should be, y'all are capping.
So maybe the conversation isn't about whether or not there's good hip hop. Maybe the conversation is how accessible and how much is there for everybody to know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to specifically know this artist? Are they trying to be more underground or whatever? Are you hearing their stuff on the radio? Like, is it really accessible, or is it just something that is like you have to know to know? The reason why I asked that is because this is what Joe's comment was. His comment was basically, I play all genres and I gotta say it's a struggle to get new SA hip hop. I get new deep house, amapiano, Afrobeats almost every day. With hip hop, you gotta put on your boots and go hunt for tunes while the other genres find a way to get to you. My inbox and WhatsApp are filled with piano and house samples too. To get new fresh hip hop, you gotta reach out to them. And in this podcast that these guys were talking about, they're basically saying they feel like these hip hop guys are too cool to send out their new music.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
they like, nah, I've put it on my Instagram, you must go find it. Like, they're not hungry to find out who are the DJs and send them their packs, make an instrumental, an intro, a clean a cappella. Like, send it out to us so that we can use it.
I'm not gonna lie, Cape Town artists, not even Cape Town artists in general, if I catch one of you complaining about your shit not being played in the club, I'm ready to throw hands because you're not sending anybody any of your shit, bro. Like, I can tell you now, I have to beg some of my favorite artists to send me music. Yeah. And then on top of having to beg my favorite artist and just artists in general to send me music, I might not get a reply. I might only get that music 2-3 months after they've dropped it. By that time, the relevancy of the song is gone already. Yeah.
It's like they don't want to be desperate or hungry. They're too cool, man.
Yeah, and like my chat is like, the ongoing, it's a never ending debate of, oh, hip hop doesn't get played in the clubs or new hip hop or whatever the case may be. But there's so many times I've sat down with artists and I've told artists, hey, there's literally a platform, Northside DJ Tools, created by DJ D. Send your DJ packs there. The day you get it from your engineer,
the biggest hip hop DJs in the country are subscribed to that.
I'm subbed. You're subbed. I'm sure George is subbed.
Bro.
Like, we are subbed to this platform, and this is where we get new hip hop and R&B from the local scene, bro. Yep. And you know how many times I've gone onto that site and it hasn't been updated for months, and I'm pretty sure it's because of people not sending their shit in, bro.
100%.
So again, don't get mad when you're in the club and you hear 2016 Casper, 2017 AKA, and be like, these bros are not playing new music when you guys are not giving us new music to play.
At the other end of the spectrum, for instance, Nasty C dropped a project last year, right?
Yeah. Love It. It's called Love It, yeah.
Yeah. Great project. I mean, Nasty C is an international act now.
Yeah, basically.
You know? Do you hear any of that out? Ever?
No.
Not at all. So it's not even to say that if the music is good or bad. There is good music. Why is it not being played?
Nasty C's most recent album also was a... I mean, I sat in the studio when KANE'S interviewed him. It was a very big shift from what you normally hear, from when he goes hard and when he was a bit angry and stuff like that. So I think on that specific album, on Nasty C, I think he changed a bit in the way he produced and the way he wrote. Especially because he's a father also now. So I mean, yeah.
I think that music is not going to be played out, and DJs aren't breaking new music because there's a culture of, if we don't know it, we're gonna show you that we don't like it. from the crowd.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of like, we love when you're playing new Drake and stuff that we know and something that's viral. But as soon as you hear something new, they are so anti that they make it known. There's a fear from the DJs to feel
that sense of
that sense of failure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, we can go back to the part where Kane mentioned a while ago that one of your heroes doesn't deviate from what he plays because he's scared of what the crowd might.
It's a real thing, bro.
But remember, this is why we push the barrier. Like again, we're not gonna play a SA hip hop set or like 100% SA hip hop set, but we do have the platforms where we can do stuff like that. Like perfect example, radio, bro.
Yeah.
Radio. I can count on both hands. I've played radio 8 times so far since I've been integrated into the Greater Drive team. I played radio 8 times. Of the 8 times, 5 of my sets had 70% SA hip hop in or more.
Wow.
And it's like, again, I might not be able to play it in the club. I might get away with some of it in the club. But the radio is literally the platform where I can expose the most out of it. And again, me being out here begging for DJ packs because the songs bang and not getting it until 3, 4, 5 months later. And on top of that, not even getting clean radio edits.
It's such a complex conversation because if you're saying that the kids are the ones that are carrying SA hip hop, the young
Yes.
people, right? If the core audience of the young people, of the young artists are their age, they aren't listening to radio. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're not they're not listening to radio, bro.
I beg to differ.
If you go to the cave right now and ask that crowd, anyone in that crowd, ask them, do they listen to radio? Do they listen to your sets?
I get a few hands up.
I think Calvin's had this the sort of not agenda, but he doesn't believe that younger generations listen to the radio.
I don't believe
but when you look at someone like KANE'S, for example, KANE'S out playing in Cape Town, he's playing in Joburg, he's playing in Durban. People listen to the radio just because they know he's playing somewhere on a Saturday, but they can hear him from a Monday to a Friday. So I think there is certain pool. I mean, DJ RDD, like he has one of the biggest shows in the country.
But I'm talking about the youth specifically. I'm talking about you saying that the young artists are carrying SA hip hop. Is their demographic listening to the radio?
I say a good number of them are listening to the radio.
Majesty's came in a couple of weeks ago, and their audience was tuned in. They were online, and that's a younger generation of people.
Okay.
So yeah, there is space for it.
So then, if that is the truth, then there is a lot of value in playing that music on the radio.
But
But
that's what I'm
is
saying.
it being played on the radio outside of a DJ mix?
That I wouldn't
Is
know.
that music playlisted?
On good hope, yes, because we have a policy where you have to play at least 4 local songs every hour. So
Even me,
so they hunt a lot for local artists, like young people, to come up and play their songs. And
like even me, I've been on the radio a couple times where I've heard a K-Kid song on the radio, and like it works, bro. Like the music is out there, and that's why I say like we can only do so much with what we are given. If we don't get given the packs, like because we are actively out here asking for you. I'm sure Joe's is out in people's DMs asking for tracks.
Let me tell you how I see it. If I have a gig on Friday, if there's a new song that dropped Monday, and I have not seen it on one story, on a TikTok, on anything, if I've not seen that song, I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna push it unless it is Drake, Chris Brown, Travis, and Kanye. Unless it is gigantic names, you're not going to see me playing that music until I start seeing some traction.
Yeah.
Or I really believe in the song and I really fuck with it.
Yeah.
So now you're going to tell me, okay, you want me to play your new music, right? You Nasty C, you are whoever. If I don't see that song You think that your music is going to be played by me before I play new J. Cole or new Drake or something. If I'm not even playing them, do you really think that I'm going to have the confidence in your new music that people are going to enjoy it? I'm not saying I don't like your music or I do like it. I'm just saying, do I have confidence that it's going to work in the club when I'm playing a peak set, 1 a.m. to 2, 3, 400 people? This is how I see it.
Yeah, I get your view.
You know what I'm saying? It's tough, bro.
It's tough, but like I said,
It's not to say that either side has the blame.
yeah,
If anybody has the blame, I think it's the mindset of the audience of
that's the culture right
the
now.
culture of not wanting to hear anything that they don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a time where, and it was on one of the comments on the YouTube video, where if you wanted to hear your new favorite song or a song
You'd
from
go
someone,
to the club.
you'd hear it in the club, and that's the first time, besides like a radio station, where you'd get to hear it. Because back in the day, streaming stuff was not easily accessible for everybody.
yeah.
So, I mean, there is a responsibility of the DJs to
I
actually
think
play this music.
we can always go back to how it used to be and what it was like, but it was a different world. This is a different time now.
Different time for real.
Accessibility and streaming and you know, options. There's just so many options. So we need to get back to the point of why do you think that I'm gonna play your music if you send it to me, right? I can say, yo, it's dope. I like it.
But maybe again, maybe that's why artists are not actively sending their music.
Possibly.
Is because now they sit there and they also think like, hey, yo, what are the chances of this bro
Yeah.
actively playing my song in a set?
Yeah.
Which again, fair point, but I mean, rather have your music out there on someone's flash drive
Yeah.
than to not have it just sit on streaming
Yeah.
platforms. Because again, there is Cape Town artists, there is a massive audience where people want to hear your music in the club. Like
Mhm.
people generally want to hear new SA hip hop in the club, but because the SA hip hop is not accessible from a DJ's perspective, I can't play it. Like I don't want to go onto YouTube and rip your music video from YouTube.
I think it's not a SA hip hop thing specifically. I think it's just a new or unknown hip hop thing specifically, and it's specific to hip hop because every other genre that exists, you can play music that is unknown and new.
You can play
play
unreleased,
brand
bro.
new piano that has dropped today.
You can play unreleased piano that's gonna
Unreleased.
drop a year from now.
Yeah, and people are gonna love it. It's a specific thing about hip hop where hip hop is a sing along, rap along genre.
Yeah.
You want to know the words, you want to rap along and sing along to it. You can't just dance to new hip hop. That's not the basis of what it is.
Takes me back to that clip of that bro giving you the side eye when you played Rich Baby Daddy.
Exactly. Exactly
Please,
that.
Brody, please edit that clip in here.
Exactly
in
that.
the segment. But yeah.
So, kind of tying into this, there was an interesting Facebook post that I saw. I just want to pull it up quickly. This is somebody on Facebook. His name's Mikey G. He says this: all my close DJ friends know this. I have accustomed myself and I believe in the fact that you don't need to be on the dance floor to enjoy a song. I'm trying to distance myself from that worry that the owner won't book me again because I'm not filling the dance floor. I can have 200 people in the place and there's only 20 people on the floor. If you book me to play 90s, I will not change to another genre. You don't need to be on the dance floor to enjoy a song. Read that again and take it with you. I thought that was quite interesting.
Very interesting take, I'm not gonna lie. I
It-
think that's pressure for a DJ. Like you've probably experienced, you have experienced this. Like you could play like one of the sickest sets that you've had in a while, and then there'd be 4, 5, 20 people on the dance floor, and then like 90, 100, 200 people just like chilling in their booths, and to you, you'd look at it like as a failure, but when you walk off the stage, all those money in the booths, they come to you, they're like, yo's puta,
Yeah.
crazy. Because this
And the
happened to
whole
me.
time you're playing, you're thinking, oh, why
Yeah,
aren't they
you catch it
dancing?
on
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing, no? Because like you expect people to be up and dancing and to have a great time when you're having a great time with your set.
Mm.
But obviously, when that doesn't correlate, you think like, oh, I might be doing something
Yeah.
wrong. Like, prime example, I had a gig last year at Cabo Beach Club. And I was one of like the earlier sets. I was maybe like the third or fourth DJ on the lineup. And I played like light hip hop, a bit of trap in there, nice SA hip hop. And again, there was about 15, 20 people on the dance floor. And again, a bunch of people just chilling in their booths. And me, I was also thinking like, damn, maybe I'm going too hard, too early, even though I know I'm playing a very light, mellow set at this point in time. Mind you, later on, like literally 2 hours after my set, this place was packed, bro. There was at least 700 to 800 people there. And that was just 2 hours after my set. And then when I got off stage, like so many people came to me, like the event organizers, the people in the booth, like they kept coming to me. They're like, oh, you shouldn't have played this early. You were so great. Like, yeah, no one was dancing or whatever the case may be, but like the people in their booths, they couldn't believe the transitions that you were pulling off and stuff like this. And that's why, and again, it also factors into the point that like, I played early, and obviously people don't like to, like a lot of people are shy, so they don't like to get onto the dance floor unless they have a couple drinks in or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know why we as DJs, we have that sense of anxiety and fear that
100%.
if people are not dancing, that we're catching on kak.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I sort of want to put myself in their shoes sometimes. And like when I'm out, I'm not on the dance floor. I can sit on the side in the corner and enjoy your DJ set. The most I'm going to do is listen. Again, I only really listen to you when you play. Yeah. I'm not on the dance floor. Most I'm going to be is in the booth for a little bit and say, yo, that was dope. And then I sit back down again. Yeah. So I do agree with him in saying that you don't have to be on the dance floor to necessarily be enjoying the set.
Do we
but
blame,
there is that anxiety though.
Do we blame section culture?
Yeah, not necessarily. Getting a phone call, yeah.
Section culture, is that what we blame?
This could be a long episode, man.
Yeah, I think we're bridging like an hour and a half now.
Let's save some of this. Let's save some of this for next time, because there's a few things that we still want to get into, but we'll save it for next week. How about that? You happy with that, Brody?
Brody's like, let me get out here. My Liverpool game's about to start.
Hey, yo, I can't wait.
Man said you booked me for an hour. I'm still here.
Nah, but I think it is genuinely conversation we can have, because this can run long and there's a lot of nitty-gritty that we can get into when it comes to this sort of conversations. Also from a photographer and videographer's perspective, like you also wait for the people to start getting things flowing before you start taking photos, because they only look at the enjoying the thing. Yeah, and the alcohol helps let that emotions flow. And but more often than not, people have told me, I mean, when you two DJ'd for the first time as a duo, I was taking videos and I was like, crowds aren't feeling it. Only to find out afterwards, everybody enjoyed it. And I was like, my perception was off because they weren't dancing as much as I thought they would. So yeah, but next time.
Yeah, we'll touch on that anxiety topic again, because that can go deep.
Yeah, so the last time you saw me, when Chaotic was here, last weekend, there was a DJ that was with us, good friend of ours, and I was about to start my set, and he came up to me and he said, bro, how do you feel right now? I was like 5 minutes in. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, do you have like anxiety? And I was like, I mean, now that you ask me, I mean, probably there's a sense of, uneasiness or what's going to happen? What am I going to do? And he's like, he was telling me that basically he felt like he could feel anxiety for me in that moment. Like he's looking at me and he's thinking like, shit, what is Calvin gonna do now? What is he gonna play? What's his first song gonna be? What you gonna do with the crowd? Like all these questions. And and he was telling me like he feels sometimes that he's like he gets this a day or two before his set even starts. And I mean, this is a DJ that like, it's a well-known DJ, it's a great DJ. And he is like, he gets this feeling like 2 or 3 days before, and then he'll over-prepare everything. And then he'll come on the day, and then like, he'll just be like sweaty and
then he'll
nervous.
throw everything out the window.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's hectic. I think it's a real thing that I don't really experience all the time, but there are moments where I have to, when I walk into the place and I'm like, I maybe had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then it's completely different, and I'm like, okay, shit, what do I do now? And it's usually, and he even said this, as soon as that first song starts, it all disappears. 2-3 days worth of stress and anxiety disappears when that first song plays. The moment you
play, bro.
It's hectic, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Thank you, Guys,
Yeah.
today was a bit of a longer episode, but
Yeah.
again, very intense conversation. Yeah, thank you for all the support so far. 5 episodes in, milestone for us also.
Yeah.
Closing in on 250 subs. Milestone
Yeah.
for us also.
Keep the subscribers coming. Tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, go watch our older episodes. Go watch our DJ sets. Cave sets are coming up. Go watch the cave stuff.
Yeah, that's coming up soon. Yeah, this whole month is just filled with like a lot of content that you guys are going to be able to enjoy. So have fun with it. Stay safe out there. Have a good time partying. To the Muslim community watching, I hope you guys have a good fast and even better Ramadan.
And we're gonna miss you. We already miss you.
We already miss you guys. We'll see you guys outside. But yeah, this is Let's Talk Foreplay, episode 5. Thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.
Coop, 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 coop,
Yes.
coop, coop.
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Wow, wow, wow. Welcome back.
Mic check, mic check.